Welcome to our in-depth discussion. Today, we want to explore the master's talk transcript you provided. This material is quite interesting. Its core seems to be about how to view the prevalent physical and mental suffering in modern people. The master proposes a unique perspective, aiming to find a solution by integrating Buddhist wisdom and scientific insight. That's right. The discussion starts with the master's observation that an enormous number of people are sick in modern society. He even said that the number of people with underlying health issues might be close to 100%. Or 100%. That means most people are, to some extent, in a state of physical or mental distress, or are very likely to fall into it soon. But nobody actually wants this. So, his approach is quite unique. It's not purely religious or purely scientific. He tries to combine the two, specifically starting with illness, a problem everyone can relate to practice the great compassion, Mahakarua, often spoken of in Buddhism. Yes, he mentioned that when the Buddha was practicing, he once took the form of the medicinal king prince, which is an expression of great compassion. The master also observed that modern scientists, nutritionists, neuroscientists, and so on, have delved deeply into their fields and identified many issues, such as the effects of excessive oil, salt, and sugar in the diet. The data is clear. However, the master sees a blind spot. Right. He noted that while these experts study specific points in depth, they find it difficult to connect these points into a comprehensive whole, lacking a holistic view. The master even mentioned that some experts themselves struggle to break free from unhealthy diets or lifestyles. That's so true, even though they are well aware of the drawbacks, just like many people know smoking is bad but can't quit. So, how does the master suggest we achieve this holistic view? What unique perspective does the Dharma offer? This is precisely where the master believes the Dharma is strong. He points out that Buddhism offers the macro-level connection needed to understand these physical and mental problems. The Dharma holds that the fundamental cause of both physical ailments and mental afflictions lies in self-establishment. Self-establishment. Does that mean we create our own suffering? Yes, that's one way to understand it. The suffering, distress, and even physical pain we experience are largely a result of the habits, views, and reaction patterns we gradually form through learning, imitation, and accumulated experience later in life. I think I'm starting to grasp it. This concept of being learned is quite insightful, just like how our accents, eating habits, and ways of handling things differ because we learn different information in different environments growing up. Did the master use the analogy of the blind man and the elephant to illustrate this? That's right, because everyone perceives the world through their own limited experience and learning scope. Everyone may develop deep biases based on the cognitive framework they built since childhood, clinging to the small part they know, failing to see the whole picture. Consequently, they inadvertently create suffering for themselves. So, the things we think we like or are accustomed to might actually be the source of all suffering. This raises a question. Why do we cling so stubbornly, refusing to let go, even when we know it might be harmful? If we look deeper, the master believes the source of this stubborn attachment is a severe distortion of the mind. He even used a very modern and apt analogy. Our inner self is infected with a computer virus. A virus. That's a powerful metaphor. Isn't it? He compares the afflictions often mentioned in Buddhism: greed, anger, ignorance, delusion, arrogance, and doubt to virus programs implanted in our minds. The master explains that our intentions, thought, act like a programmer, constantly using our five senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body to gather intelligence. Based on this, it continually strengthens and executes the virus programs already installed. And the result is that we become trapped by the virus programs we ourselves designed, falling into one painful cycle after another. So, is there an antidote? Or is it possible to reinstall the system? This is precisely the direction the master points toward. Since this virus-ridden system of bias and wrong views was established by us, a correct, healthy program system can certainly be edited and rebuilt by us. That makes sense. What exactly is this correct program? How do we install it? The master clearly states that this correct program is the 10 virtuous deeds and precepts taught in Buddhism. He explains that consistently practicing the 10 virtuous deeds naturally brings a positive result, called the harmony of the faculties. Harmony of the faculties. Does that mean our senses and thoughts become more obedient, more controllable by us? Exactly. The faculties refer to our 6 roots: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. The harmony of the faculties means they can follow our commands and become compliant, not running out of control. The master pointed out that most of us essentially cannot control our thoughts or our senses. This is because we lack the good karma of the harmony of the faculties as a driving force. That is why Buddhist practice emphasizes observing the precepts right from the start. By upholding the precepts, we gradually clear away irrational impulses, cultivate focus and awareness, and thus accumulate the good karmic foundation for the harmony of the faculties. So, the key to change lies in consciously choosing to reprogram, using the new, healthy program of the 10 virtuous deeds to gradually replace the old virus program of greed, anger, ignorance, and the rest. That's the idea. But that doesn't sound easy. The master discussed two possible paths. Gradual progress, for 99% of people. This requires a step-by-step process. The most crucial practice is to constantly observe and be aware of one's current thoughts. When a thought arises, identify whether it comes from the old virus program, like greed, anger, complaining. If it is, you must consciously choose to discard it and not act on it. If it's a healthy thought, keep it. Through this continuous observation, identification, and choice in every moment, the new, healthy system will gradually be established. Sudden enlightenment. For a select 1%, this is for a tiny minority of people with extremely sharp capabilities and high spiritual realization, where instantaneous transformation is possible, like the legendary stories of sudden enlightenment. However, the master admitted that this is too difficult for the vast majority of ordinary people. Understood. So, for most of us, the most reliable path is the first one, diligently starting with the practice of the 10 virtuous deeds and observing our thoughts in daily life. That's right. The master repeatedly emphasized the importance of great compassion. He quoted a crucial saying, "Due to great compassion, the Bodhi-mind arises. Due to the Bodhi-mind, supreme enlightenment is achieved." How should we understand this? How does great compassion lead us to final enlightenment? It means that the motivation for all practice begins with profound great compassion, a genuine feeling of the suffering of all beings and a strong desire to help them eliminate that suffering. Because of this great compassion, the Bodhi-mind arises the resolve to pursue the highest wisdom and perfect enlightenment in order to gain the capacity to help all beings find happiness and eliminate suffering. Ultimately, guided by this Bodhi-mind and continuous practice, one can reach supreme perfect enlightenment, Buddhahood. So, alleviating the suffering of beings is the concrete practice of great compassion and the starting point and engine of the entire path. Regarding the master's point on following the ways of living beings, does that mean we cater to whatever they desire? This is a very common misunderstanding. The master clarified that the true focus of following the ways of living beings is great compassion. The key is to address their fundamental suffering and offer help to eliminate their distress, rather than blindly indulging the various desires that arise from their afflictions, the virus program. I see. The focus is on responding to their most fundamental need, freedom from suffering and attainment of happiness. Exactly. Furthermore, the master elaborated that because the sufferings of beings are so varied, to truly help them, you must continuously explore, learn, and understand various types of suffering and the methods and knowledge to eliminate them. When you continuously learn, explore, and practice for the sake of helping all beings, and eventually possess the wisdom and ability to eliminate all types of suffering for all beings, the master says that state is essentially the state of a Buddha. This is a framework that integrates internal cultivation, such as keeping precepts, practicing good deeds, and mind observation, with external action, such as compassionate aid, acquiring knowledge, and utilizing science. The master has indeed provided a very systematic and practical method. Yes. The master also proposed the view that science is Dharma. He does not mean their content is identical, but that their mode of seeking truth is fundamentally consistent. Science involves rigorous experimentation, practice cultivation, and produces objectively verifiable results, realization verification. The Dharma is the same. It offers a method of practice and theory, practice, and through its application, one can achieve an internal state that can be personally experienced and verified by the practitioner, realization. So, the master means both emphasize practice and verification. This makes the wisdom of the Dharma more easily understood and accepted by modern society. However, the master also mentioned a practical consideration. While they can focus on the scientific angle in their planned actions, like forming an association called the important choice, they need to candidly explain their Buddhist background to avoid a potential trust crisis later. Integrity is key. That makes a lot of sense. So, let's summarize the key insights from this discussion. I think the most crucial insight is that much of the physical and mental suffering we feel stems from an internal virus program we establish ourselves later in life. The solution is to gradually rewrite our inner correct program through the continuous practice of the 10 virtuous deeds and necessary precepts. And the fundamental driving force for this potentially long effort is the great compassion, the desire to alleviate the suffering of all beings. Ultimately, This complete process of self-improvement and external action for the benefit of living beings is itself the path to ultimate wisdom and freedom, Buddhahood. That's right, the Master truly provided a systematic and hope-filled journey, reminding us that change is possible and the internal system can be rebuilt. The key lies in whether we are willing to make that important choice, choosing good deeds over bad, choosing to establish a healthy system rather than remaining controlled by those virus programs. Finally, the Master quoted a famous line from the Diamond Sutra: all conditioned phenomena are like a dream, a phantasm, a bubble, and a shadow. When we understand that our experience of suffering, and even the self we consider solid, were built up unknowingly, bit by bit, like a program, perhaps looking back at this line that all things composed of conditions are illusory and unreal will bring us an entirely different feeling and inspiration, which is truly worth contemplating and exploring in our lives.